Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Netflix. It is time for another update, and for context on this chart we have been tracking a couple of interpretations. Mainly we have our white scenario as our larger time frame structure, where a more substantial top could be in place within this as a larger wave 3 to the upside, and we could be looking for a wave 4 correction into the area between the $39.5 all the way down to the $10 level. As long as we hold this area of support, we are still looking for continuation to higher prices within this idea of a larger impulse that would still be in formation. Now, to be clear, within the large time frame, even within this structure, we would expect strong extensions to higher prices, because this would still be very much an internal pattern. We would be tracking a series of 1-2 setups within this area anyway, and we would be looking for continuation to higher prices even once we complete this 5-wave structure we are tracking within this area. Now, at the same time, we are considering a possible extension of this 5th wave, and initially we were looking actually to extend in a more direct fashion in this area, where we had an internal area of support down to around the $89 to $90 area, but since we have broken that in a sustained manner, we have known that this structure, this wave to the upside, was likely going to be complete. Now, within the yellow structure, we are tracking a potential 1-2 setup in this area, where a wave 3 would be expected to follow and take us to higher prices. And for this scenario, the area of support starts much higher at the $60 level. We do still have plenty of room within this structure as well, down to the $25.6 level, but as long as we hold it, we are looking for continuation to higher prices, potentially within a larger structure. And at the same time, while this could still be part of this 5th wave, I am not opposed at all to tracking all of this as just a series of 1-2 setups, where a 3rd wave would follow and would transform all of this into a very large wave 3 that would allow this chart to become much stronger, to have a lot more upside than we can initially assume based on the current structure. But for that, we will need some evidence, and within both of these interpretations, we would expect to actually continue to lower prices at this point, because we haven't reached any of these areas of support at the moment. Now, internally within this structure, we are assuming that we are looking at an initial wave A to the downside, and within our primary interpretation, we are looking at a potential leading diagonal in this wave A, where we have a wave 1 down, a wave 2 up, and we would currently be within the wave 3 to the downside, in which we are tracking an A, B, C structure. Within this wave C, we are tracking an ending diagonal, and within it we have a wave 1 down, a wave 2 up, a wave 3 that might have actually formed the bottom, and now we would be looking potentially for the wave 4 correction. I do have some requirements for a signal that the wave 3 has indeed bottomed. We might not even fulfill them and extend to lower prices, but that might be just it. We might be getting an extension to lower prices still within this wave 3, but since the previous video we have actually completed our count, we have completed our structure, we were expecting to be able to track this wave 3 as potentially full. Now, before we move into the smaller time frame, I wanted to briefly mention our channel newsletter. You can find the link for sign up in the description, and it is completely free, and it will provide you access to our monthly top picks, where we identify for you high quality structures that you can follow along with us on the channel, and you will have clear levels of invalidation, such as we had on this chart. We knew that below the $89-90 area, we would be looking for something much more bearish. You wouldn't have needed to wait for the losses to actually materialize, and especially if you're stuck in leveraged positions. But of course, we will be providing you the list of high quality assets that have extremely promising high quality structures, high quality assets that you can actually accumulate. Now again, this is completely free, but if you enjoy our content and you want to support us, you can check out our channel membership. The link for that is in the description as well, or you can click the join button and you will get access to additional content stocks and assets that we cannot even post here on the channel regularly, but that do provide quality structures. Now, if you want to learn more about the membership or the newsletter, you can check out our channel update video. It contains all the information and what you can expect even further in the future from us. But for now, let's go back to the chart. So here, within this wave C to the downside, we have been tracking this idea of an ending diagonal. So this structure, this movement to the downside is full of diagonal structures, which is really not a problem. But within this movement, within this wave C, we have been looking at a wave 1 down, a wave 2 up, a wave 3 down, and we had a wave 4 already in place, but we did allow an extension to even higher prices potentially within this correction in the previous video, although it seemed already likely to extend in a more direct fashion and complete this wave 5 to the downside. And at this point, I do have to say, I really don't need any additional extensions to lower prices. I do strongly consider that this wave would be complete, but the thing is, it doesn't need to be the entire wave 5. So while this could be an A, B, C pattern within the wave 5, all we really need to consider this wave complete, we could be looking at this to be only a wave A to the downside, and a wave B could follow, and a wave C would be able to allow extensions within this wave 5, thus extending the entire structure. So at this point, we will have an internal area of resistance for such an expectation. We will be tracking this within a different color, let's say green, and we would be watching the levels between the $78.7 all the way up to the $82.6. Already, we can see we have reacted a couple of times to this first level of resistance. Initially, we got quite a strong rejection, and the movement to the upside already seems quite corrective. We won't be spending too much time analyzing the internal structure within this area. It is clearly highly corrective, and I wouldn't think too much of it. I would let it run, and I would focus on the levels of resistance instead. I would really not consider a long position within this area because the structure just seems so awful, so corrective in this movement to the upside. I could see this structure unfold in very many different ways without clear indication that we need to extend to higher prices. So for now, within this smaller time frame, I'm looking just for an A, B, C pattern in this area that could extend lower. And if we have already bottomed within this wave 3, we can look even for the larger area of resistance for the follow-up wave 4. And I want to change the degree for this count, and I'm watching the area of resistance drawn by the entire wave 3 to the downside, which would provide us the levels between the $82.3 all the way up to the $95 level. So within this wave 4 correction, we could go as high as the $95 level, and we would still be able to look for continuation to lower prices before assuming a more substantial bottom would be in place within this large wave C and this large wave 3 at the same time. And once we would have this structure complete, this wave to the downside in place, we might be getting an additional low, although I want to highlight it is not necessary. Other counts are possible, and we will be tracking if we can form another wave 4 correction and another 5th wave to complete an initial 5-wave structure to the downside that would allow us to track with high probabilities that after a 3-wave correction, we would be looking for at least another 5-wave move to the downside, thus completing our larger structure here in yellow. Now, doesn't need to unfold exactly like this. We need to be flexible. We need to actually watch the structure that is unfolding, because this is just an idea of the patterns, and this wave A, even this wave A in yellow, doesn't need to build an entire 5-wave structure, but as long as the count allows for continuation to lower prices, we need to see the break above the levels of resistance for a signal that it will not actually take place. And by the current pattern, by the current structure within this area, it seems rather likely that we will have our initial 5-wave structure, which will strongly suggest that we should be looking for at least another wave to the downside, because remember, a corrective pattern such as a wave 2 would be expected to have a 3-wave structure, not a 5-wave pattern. That is why the initial 5-wave structure is always strongly suggesting that we would be looking for a 3-wave correction and then at the very least another 5-wave move in a continuation of the trend. But for now, there really isn't much else to add. As I was saying, I wouldn't look into the smaller time frame within this area, and I would strongly advise against it because the structure is just that unreliable. I wouldn't assume this movement to the downside, this wave, to be extending. We have already created a very nice reaction to the upside, yeah, quite out of proportions, and even if we extend lower, it would be within an additional wave, yeah, a different wave to the downside. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.